Hi everybody, I'm Jack the Rambling Raconteur, and I hope that you're doing well. I hope you're having a great week. I certainly am. Well rested after fall break, getting back in the swing of things. And it's Tag Tuesday, so I wanted to participate with a book tag. It's been a long time since I've done a tag video. My Tag Tuesdays have been supplanted with Toiling Tuesdays. I've been so busy with work. But I did want to jump back in. I'm doing it with the Finally Fall book tag. I believe the original is from Aline Melina. I first saw it on Melted Books. Hillary has a wonderful channel. She's very fun. She loves autumn. She loves autumn reads. So let's dive into this. Prompt 1: in the fall, the air is crisp and clean. Name a book with a vivid setting. Well, I don't know how clean the book is, but it has a vivid setting, and that's The Gallows Pole by Benjamin Myers. I read this book at the end of last year, and I absolutely loved it. It conjures the setting. We're in the 18th century Yorkshire moors with the Cragvale coiners, and we are on the moors. We are in the towns. We get the sense of mud. We get the sense of candlelit, buildings and homes and hovels where the coiners are operating. We get that sense of dread and fear that can exist. The language, the dialogue, so much of it is in vernacular that it just has this authentic feel. It conjures a setting. It takes us there. And it's not a place that we want to spend the rest of our lives, but it's definitely a place that we can, understand better. So this was a great book. And also, some green, the last leaves of autumn, if you will. Last leaves before autumn. Prompt 2: nature is beautiful, but also dying. Whoa, that's scary. Name a book that is beautifully written, but also deals with a heavy topic, like loss or grief. And this book is still just absolutely haunting my mind. Die, My Love by Ariana Harwitz. I talked about it last week, and I just wanted to give this book one last shout out because I can't get it out of my mind. There's passages from it, images around the unnamed character looking out at a stag out in rural France. Just the ways that she is trying to recapture her identity, recapture her life in this new world of being a new parent, a new mother, and realizing just how overwhelmed she feels, what a nightmare life can feel like. This book haunted me. It's one that I'm going to reread, and I just want to encourage as many people as possible to read. So, prompt 3: fall is back to school season. I guess after fall break. We've been in school for a couple months. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. Well, I'm fortunate, I'm blessed in that most nonfiction books teach me quite a bit that's new. I could just list 100 titles, but one that's on a more personal note would be Twisted by Emma Dabiri. This is an amazing book. This is a fairly recently published book. I want to say it's maybe 2 years old, maybe 3. I read it 2 years ago. And it is this incredible exploration of the history, the many strands, if you will, of Black hair culture. Notice I didn't say African-American hair culture, but African, the African diaspora, African-American, all of the different ways in which people, and primarily women of African descent, their hair has been denigrated over centuries by scientists, politicians, entertainers, and the many ways in which women, can find an aspect of liberation, and men can find an aspect of liberation in how they style their hair. And this, of course, is just really personal for me with my wife, trying to understand, how she thinks about herself and how she thinks about her own beauty, how our daughters think about their beauty. What are the cues that I can share for them? Of course, I do their hair, and I try to do a really nice job with their hair. But, this is a great book, again, one that I highly recommend. Prompt 4. In order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people we love. Name a fictional family, household, or friend group that you'd like to be a part of. Wouldn't everybody want to be hanging out with the Bundrens in As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner? Prompt 5. The colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall-colored spines. Well, I'll be perfectly honest. I was really tempted to just, be like... But it said a pile. So I looked around, bear with me a moment. I tried to come up with a pile of fall-colored spines for you guys. So hopefully there's something here to appreciate. Choose which color you will. There's a lot of great books in here, and a lot of great colors too. Prompt 6. Fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Except in Arizona where it's too hot for fires. Share a book where somebody is telling a story. Well, How about Mules and Men by Zora Neale Hurston, in which it's an autoethnography where she's going back to Florida, and she's spending time out there in rural Florida with African Americans. And we get all sorts of really fascinating stories in here. She's, retelling the stories she's hearing at restaurants, at dances, at small homes, out at a work camp. And we have all these concepts around like conjure stories, Brer Rabbit, stories like that. But then you find out that there's like Brer Croc in Mules and Men, and you go like, wait a second. Great book. It's in the Library of America Folklore and Memoirs volume they have, but it's also published separately. Great book. Prompt 7, the nights are getting darker earlier. Share a dark, creepy read. Well, how about To Walk the Night by William Sloane? Cosmic horror, and actually ends here in Arizona, so there you go. I should say it has a climax here in Arizona. Prompt 8, the days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. Well, I think of short reads, I think of heartwarming reads, and of course the first volume that comes to mind is not 2666 by Roberto Bolaño. It's neither short nor heartwarming. It's long and heartrending. But I thought of two. One would be Malgudi Days from R.K. Narayan. These stories are very charming. Even the ones that are sad, there's a sense of charm to them. Narayan seems to just appreciate and love the fictional town he's created, the fictional town he's peopled, with just so many wonderful little characters, their lives, their relationships. So this is a book to really just spend time in. There's enough stories where you can almost read one a day for an entire month and just sort of feel like you're visiting the town with Narayan and his characters. But the other one I'll give a shout out to would be the title story in Whatever Happened to Interracial Love by Kathleen Collins. Kathleen Collins died young, and unfortunately we have just so few works from her, but that story on its own is absolutely fascinating. Prompt 9, fall returns every year. It does. Name an old favorite you'd like to return to soon. Well, I've got a couple. One is Aristophanes. I'm going to be reading a play from Aristophanes soon. I'm tempted to say it's going to be The Birds, but it might be another one from this volume. The Knights, possibly The Assemblywomen. So, love Aristophanes. One of my all-time favorites. Also, for New Worlds November, I'm very excited because this volume is just probably my single favorite science fiction anthology. Yes, Edging Dangerous Visions. These novellas are absolutely wonderful. They're marvelous. A couple of them will fit into the New Worlds November prompts. Most specifically, I'm really excited to reread Vintage Season from C.L. Moore. Love that story. I won't say which prompt it's for. And the other one is, I started this year. It has become a new favorite of mine. It's a book that I'm hoping to really be able to spend a little bit more time with, refocus on, and appreciate through the rest of this year. That'll be the Shahnameh from Ferdowsi. This book has been marvelous. I've loved it. So, prompt 10, fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Or here, just like, you don't have to have the air conditioning on reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories. Well, I did bring out a candle. I sometimes like candles, just to keep the house smelling nice. But the only other accessory I have, I'm not a blankets guy, but the other accessory I do have is my reading lamp, which I'll show here. It's a pretty nice reading lamp. My wife purchased it several years ago, and it hangs over my reading chair in our back room here. So it's the Finally Fall book tag. Those are my reading accessories. Prompt 11, spread the autumn appreciation and tag some people. There's a whole bunch of leaves that are going to come down here. We're going to make it rain with tags. Shelley Swearingen, Summer from Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats, especially with that last prompt 10 on the Cozy Reading Nights. Greg from Another Bibliophile Reads. Apparently he's involved in these book exchanges, so he's appreciating autumn. Michelle Lexi, who has a great channel. She's from Australia, and she has a really wide, diverse set of reading that she experiences, and I love that. Book Zealots, and then we're going to see, he doesn't do too many tags, but I'm just going to throw his name out there anyways. Everyone Who Reads It Must Converse, Noah, he's tagged as well. That'll be the last leaf that's falling this autumn. Thanks, everybody.